So the hotel inspector, how did that come about for you?
It came about because I was working at one of my mother's hotels. I was running it, and I was very busy one Sunday serving meals out on the terrace and chatting to people and la la la, being all like I am as usual. And someone I was serving was a TV producer. And a few days later, I got a call, and they said to me, "Did I want to try out for? Did I want to do a TV test?" And I love hotels and I loved running a hotel. And I had never been happier than I was at that hotel. But I had just got married and I was pregnant, and hotels and young children do not mix very well. So I saw it as very serendipitous because it gave me a chance of another career, and it gave me a chance to kind of organize my own time and my own life.
And how many, when you look back and think about it now over the course of from that moment to now, if you had to ballpark, how many hotels do you think that you have stayed in? Because every hotel you visit, every episode, you spend a night. So do you know how many hotels you've stayed in?
Well, let's see. I have done 13 years of this. 13 years, isn't that shocking? I think I must have stayed in 100 hotels at least.
And any standouts, good or bad, that you want to name?
They're all bad. That's why I'm there after all. I think the ones that really get me are the ones that are dirty. I mean, they are the terrible ones, the ones that I have nightmares about. And then the ones that I worry about in this period, particularly in this time of COVID, are the ones who dragged themselves up by their bootstraps, improved so much, did so well, and that, did we do enough to help them save themselves through this time?
And I was going to ask, do you think, how has, because you're not just the hotel inspector and going to these hotels and doing a TV show, you also run some high-end, you have the Polizzi collection, you run some high-end hotels. How has COVID changed the landscape of tourism, specifically from a hotel's, from running a hotel's perspective?
Well, I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones. As the Polizzi collection, we have hotels in the UK. And so, internal markets are really strong. Everyone still wants a holiday. They can't fly. They can't go anywhere. We are busier than we've ever been.
Wow.
However, we're as busy as we've ever been within the limits that they've set for us. So within the 2 meter distance of the tables and the all the new cleaning protocols, and the fact that they imposed this last lockdown on us in the UK, literally from one day to the next, when we were very, very busy. And, I'm involved in a larger hotel group, my uncle's hotel group, which has, 5-star hotels all throughout Europe, particularly in Italy and Germany. And it's been a disaster for them because they depend on international travelers, and international travelers are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not. I don't envy. I don't envy it.
I know, I have a lot of people ask me at the moment, is this a good time? That kind of whole when life gives you lemons, make lemonade kind of thing. Like, is this a good time? So many businesses have failed. So many hospitality industries have gone down the tubes. Is this a good time to start up a hospitality industry? And I say, no, this is not a good time. I mean, honestly, people have rocks in their brain, I sometimes think. This is the worst possible time to set up this kind of industry. To start with, you need deep pockets anyway. You need some knowledge of what you're doing, which is sadly much in abeyance in my line of work. And I also think, we don't really know what's around the corner. So that lack of ability to see into the future really matters at the moment.
Do you have an opinion on short-term rentals and companies like Airbnb and VRBO and Home and Away? I'm trying to name as many as I can so it doesn't sound like a product placement.
Yeah.
But that industry in general versus a traditional hotel stay. What do you think of that when you think about kind of the rise of the short-term rental versus traditional hotels?
I'm all for it.
Wow.
I
Okay.
really am. Why not? I think, most of us live for our holidays. Most of us can't afford more than one or at most two nice holidays a year. But getaways count for something, however you manage them. And I stay in Airbnbs. I mean, somewhere like Venice, where hotels are, horrendously expensive, and a nice hotel is virtually impossible, especially if you're traveling in a crowd. An Airbnb is the perfect way to see it, or Rome, or any of the big cities. I think it's a really good way to see it. On the other hand, when I go away, I work incredibly hard, and what matters to me is service. I like having my bed made in the morning. I like the occasional breakfast in bed. And I love having, just being looked after. And that is something that you don't get from an Airbnb. So I'm always, my choice is always for hotels, but I do appreciate one can't always afford them.
That's very valid and very fair. And when you do check into those hotels, do you know, are people nervous when they see you coming?
Quite often the guests are nervous
What-
because they think that
Oh,
somehow, especially when I'm there for leisure, and especially if I'm with my family, you see people whispering to each other,
yeah.
like, have they stumbled across a terrible hotel that I'm looking at professionally? And I go, no, 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 I promise. I'm here, I'm on holiday, I'm with my family, I just want to have a nice time. Um, what's interesting too is staff are incredibly nice. I think I have a kind of an aura of being a kind of toughie. But
Mhm.
like I said, good service, there's nothing like it. And I think people who are in the service industry really know that I understand how hard a job it is and how amazing it is when it's done properly.